Hello, my name is Elisiti Razaida binti Rusli, metric number 66960. My point of view about citizenship is the relationship between a person and a state to which the individual owes allegiance. Citizens have privileges, duties, and obligations that aliens and other non-citizens living in a nation are excluded or partly expanded. Next, inclusion. Inclusion is a people are welcome and respected individually and collectively in inclusive societies. People feel a degree of positive encouragement and loyalty from others, allowing them to do their best at work. And finally, advocacy. Advocacy is the act of promoting the interest or cause of a person or a party. An advocate is someone who campaign for, recommend, or support a cause or policy. Additionally, advocacy involves supporting individuals in developing their own sense of self. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Nur Rahmah binti Asmali, metric number 67206. From my point of view, citizenship is someone belonging country or patriotic value that have their own rights and duties towards government and development of nation. Inclusion practice is a practices policy involve a group or team of community and organization regardless of their race, capabilities and level of education. Everyone is being treated the same without any specialities excuses. While advocacy means speak out supporting points that influences everyone's decision making and opinion so no one will have left behind.
Hello, my name is Nur Fatihah binti Hasan. My metric card number is 68661. In my opinion, citizenship is an individual-state relationship to which the individual owes loyalty and, in exchange, it entitled to its protection. Citizenship implies a status of freedom with accompanying responsibilities. Second, inclusion is considered a central human right. The purpose of inclusion is to accept all individuals regardless of ethnicity, gender, disability, health condition, or other needs. It is about providing fair access and resources, as well as eliminating prejudice and racism. It affects all facets of public life. Last but not least, advocacy. It is the act of supporting others in having their voice recognized. It is a technique that helps citizens recognize their rights and share their thoughts. Advocacy may involve several things, an individual or association.
Hello, my name is Siti Ana Nabila binti Abdul Aziz, metric number 68422. Citizenship is the quality of individuals' behavior as a citizens. To deeply thinking and taking for granted citizenship might not be a things of rank, power, and influence. As a citizen, our gift and differences should accept us into society from whom we are. Inclusion is the act of making a person or thing part of a group or collection. It is seen as a human right universal. The aim of inclusion is to cover everyone regardless of race, gender, disability, health, or other need. It concerns equal rights and equal access and the elimination of discrimination and bigotry. Advocacy is referred in a broad sense to efforts to promote in the domains of humanitarian aid, respect for humanitarian principles and law with a view to influencing the relevant political authorities.
Hello, my name is Hazikala. My metric number is 66099. In my opinion, citizenship is someone being born in the place and having access to all the same freedom. For example, citizenship refers to someone being born in Malaysia and enjoy the same privilege and right as others still live there. Second is inclusion. Inclusion is about creating a community for all where everyone have ethics role to play and person with the right and responsibility. Everyone can join in, even if they are part of a group that might sometimes be unable or unwelcome to join in. For example, disabled people or people with a particular gender, nationally or sexually. And the last one is advocacy. Advocacy is a volunteer to help people to find their voice.
Thank you. Next, I will continue about discussion regarding sustainable society by Grossman 2008. The author argues that inclusive citizenship requires an acceptance of human diversity and diverse social ideologies. According to the author, democracy, inclusive practices, civil liberty, and social inclusion are all strongly linked. He says the relationship between democratic citizenship, education, and integration is based on a mutual commitment and diversity and distinction. The author argues that the right to education can be realized only if schooling is made more accessible and necessary. He argues that it is required to accept the importance of giving new members a vote as a fundamental democratic concept.
Thank you, previous presenter. Regarding to the social inclusion, Grossman 2008 discussed both in political and educational policy discourses and in some cases a legal and moral imperative. Social inclusion is about how societies deal with different in what are often highly charged contexts. This struggle for political participation is often mirrored or replicated in the struggle for access to education and educational right by diverse groups. Most democratic political theories today make the assumption that the virtue of democracy lies in its inclusiveness. Thank you. Next representative.
Thank you. According to the United Nations, a socially inclusive society is a society for all, in which every individual with rights and responsibilities play an active role. Technically, a socially inclusive society is one where all are treated equally and respected in their right to make decisions and participate in society, regardless of race, gender, sexuality, age, and disability. For a better understanding, a socially inclusive society is characterized as one where everyone feels valued, respects their differences.
Thank you. Next, I will talk about summary of the paper by Haug 2017 on inclusive education. Europe has recognized that comprehensive education is a vital precondition for ensuring equitable educational opportunities for all individuals with differing special educational needs. I will discuss the distinction between inclusion as a goal and inclusion as a fact in this article. Inclusion put a higher premium on teaching and learning practices affecting the pedagogical changes that convergence failed to accomplish. A combination of a lack of political will and people's unstoppable resistance to change are the biggest obstacles. Inclusive education should apply to all children with special educational needs, not just disabled children. The author argues that insufficient teacher competency in the field of inclusive pedagogy are a significant issue. To ensure comprehensive education, we must continue to strengthen teachers' capacity in this area of education. According to the author, comprehensive education should apply to children with and without special education needs. The author expresses concern about the extent to which inclusiveness can be used and how it can be accomplished. Thank you. Next, I will pass to the next presenter.
Thank you, Nick. According to UNICEF, inclusive education is a system of education that welcomes and supports all students to learn regardless of who they are or what their abilities or requirements are. This helps to ensure that teaching and the curriculum and school buildings, classroom, playing areas, transportation, and toilet are suitable for all children at all levels. UNICEF also highlights the importance of inclusive education. It improves learning for all children, those with and without disability. It improves understanding, reduces prejudice, and strengthens social integration. It ensures that children with disability are equipped to work and contribute economically and socially to their communities. A successful inclusive classroom necessarily required constructive interaction from all sides. This partnership is intended to develop a vision and mission to facilitate the promotion and enhancement of inclusive education. To make this inclusive practice a reality, educators must provide the training accessibilities and material required to educate students of various needs and learning styles. In order to effectively introduce inclusive education, Ministry of Education must be willing to spend significant investment at the start in curriculum improvements such as teacher and staff requirement, upgrading facilities, learning tools and supplies, and revising teaching methods. They also need to keep track the improvement of system progress proactively so that any insufficiencies can be rectified more quickly. I will pass to the next presenter.
Thank you. Now I will talk about part C, where I am comparing the definition of learning disabilities in 5 different countries. First, Malaysia and Norway have almost similar definition of learning disabilities. In Malaysia, learning disabilities is number of disorders which may affect the acquisition, organization, retention, understanding or use of verbal or non-verbal information in those with otherwise at least average abilities. The results from the impairments in processes related to perceiving, thinking, remembering, or learning. These 3 disabilities, hearing and visual impairment, physical disabilities, learning disabilities, are the highest ranking statistic from other type of disabilities in these 2 countries. Next, United Kingdom defined learning disabilities as people with low intelligence or cognitive abilities and reflects the fact that their ability to learn is impaired. Surprisingly, in United Kingdom, skin allergies, anxiety and autism also classified as disabilities. Then, United States and Australia have a very basic definition of learning disabilities which is same as other country. The differences between both of these countries with others, they categorize people with extreme light sensitivity and squinting eyes as part of disabilities. In addition, United States also specified their disabilities to those with less self-care, for example, difficulty in dressing or bathing. So that's all from me. Let's invite the next presenter. Thank you.
Thank you. For the last part is part D. First question is, why is inclusion important for individuals with learning disability and the society? This is because inclusive programmers ensure that all children receive the high quality education and contribute to the transformation of discriminatory attitude. School establish children initially contact with the world outside of their home, allowing for the formation of a social connection and experience. Respect and empathy development as a student of a range of ability and experience interact, play, and learning together. Adult with developmental disability has been seen to benefit significantly from social integration in terms of self-esteem, positively and freedomly. An individual treatment plan should focus on current it that is where family, friend, employer, and educator can step in, work collaborated to improve the quality of life for disabled adults in their care. Next is the second question is Next is the question 2. What does learning disability refer to? What is an inclusive society? Learning disability is referred to neurology disorders. In simple terms, the manner in which a person's brain is wired is the product of an intellectual disability. A learning disability cannot be cured or fixed. It is a lifelong issue. An inclusive society is a society which overcomes racial, sexual, social, and geographical difference and ensure that all the members of society have inclusive, equal opportunity and capacity to identify the social institutions agreed.